Estate Show on WGBF AM with your host, Charlie Butler. This is where you'll learn to sell your home quickly and for more money. And now, the host of the Real Estate Show, the guy who guarantees to sell your home or he'll buy it himself, Charlie Butler.
Good Sunday morning, Tri-State. You are listening to the Real Estate Show with Charlie Butler and my lovely sidekick, Leslie Morgan, / producer, co-host. And
we sound like such superheroes.
We do.
Yeah, with capes and all.
Although I do want to lodge complaint with LaDon though, who is the boss here.
Dynamite boss.
Yeah, someone took my parking place.
Did they?
Yes.
Oh no!
I had to park in a different spot, and when I came up on the elevator, I had to walk all the way to the last elevator.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm not sure she has anything to do with that, but if she does, she will change it. For sure. For you, anything.
How's everything going with you?
It's going good. Just busy.
Well, so your Facebook page is up now, right?
It is. It's been up for 7 years. I've been working on this for 7 years.
Well, I wonder why... I've never liked it, so I never...
Well, I think it's because I never really knew exactly what I was going to do with it. I think I knew where I wanted to go, but I just didn't know how I was going to get there. And it took 7 years to figure out the clear direction for that. And so now we figured it out, and I've cast the other women, and I'm hoping that this will, I mean, if nothing else, it's just these three women that I've met at different times in my life coming together to have a good time with some wine and just share like my mom used to do with her friends. It was all based on my mom and her friends were the original Society of Dangerous Women, and I was little watching them support each other, laugh at each other, wipe each other's tears, drink with each other, hold each other's hand when times were bad. And I thought, on a worldwide scale, I can do this. I can do this for other women, just like my mom did it in our small town with her group of women. So I'm hoping that it's something that will help women just feel better, even if you're just laughing.
You talk about your mom. Before I ever knew you that well, when you were doing my commercials, and one of us or the other one friended each other on Facebook, and I got to read the stories about your mom, and she sounded like a really neat lady.
She was. It'll be 2.5. It'll actually be 3 years in July that she's been passed away.
Something recently.
Yeah.
About that.
Yeah, she was a very intelligent, compassionate lady. Always a lady, which I would never have lived up to that. But she loved me anyway. She appreciated me for who I was, which is not her. And she groomed me to be confident and secure in who I was and the gifts and talents I had. And not all women feel that way. I was a teacher working with high school kids for 12 years, and I saw the way the girls felt about themselves. Of no fault of their parents, just that it's hard sometimes to encourage women to be everything that they can be and feel like they have a voice and really be able to be okay, like not wearing makeup or making a mistake, tripping. How you get back up is what counts.
Yep.
Not that you tripped. So it should be a good time, and it's all for her. It's all for my mom. And March is the month I wanted to launch it because it's Women's History Month, and it's also her birthday would have been March 1st, and that's when that post I made on Facebook that you saw.
Yeah.
So, and my daughter's birthday is March 24th. So March is an important month for me to finally do this, and I'm very excited about it. I'm hoping later on it might be turned into a book that I could write, or also maybe some sort of like comedy series that some of my friends think they might want to sell.
That would be great.
So I'm excited about it. Creatively, it like gets my juices going.
That would be great. And you have never been, since I've known you, you've never, from the very first day, which was not that pleasant, was you were never short on confidence.
No.
And what you planned on doing. That was not something you were short on.
And even when I'm not my best, because there's lots of times when I'm not funny, or I mess up my words on the air, or I'm not the best mom or wife or sister. It's just the ability to say, I'm okay with who I am and what I have to offer, which is different than what someone else has to offer, but I appreciate what she or he is bringing to the table too. too. But I'm definitely always going to have confidence, even when I'm not at my best.
So Society of Dangerous Women, go like that page on Facebook.
Or societyofdangerouswomen.com.
Societyofdangerouswomen.com. Thank you.
Yes.
And by the way, Leslie, even though she has these high-paying gigs now as producer of the Charlie Butler Show, and
I'm not making anything on the podcast. This is just fun for now.
Leslie is still the co-morning show host at 99.5 WKDQ.
Yeah, all this other stuff's just side gig.
I know.
Side gig. I'm still going to be here for you, Charlie, and I'm still going to be on KDQ as long as they'll have me, as long as I don't mess up. Yeah. You know, there's no delay button. We're live, so my filter. The older I get, the dirtier it is, and it doesn't always catch stuff. Like, what did I say that? I thought I only thought that.
And it just came on out.
I've only had that happen once. Really? I think a lot of things. Like, my sense of humor is not necessarily family friendly in a setting where we're like social.
No.
I mean, I grew up with all boys, like whatever. I don't even care. But on the air, I have to be. There's filters that have to be in place. And I never really had a problem with it. I think it in my mind would work fast enough to where I'd be like, no, you need to go over here and say that. But I one time said something on the air that was inappropriate. And I wasn't thinking. In my defense, I was sad that my morning show partner was leaving, which was Dave, my former radio husband. I've had 3. That he was my second. And I really cared for him. Like, we became really good friends. Our families became close, and to think he was going to leave and I may never see him again made me sad. So my filter was all clogged with tears, and I said something which it wasn't really, really bad, but it was just it came out. It's not something you're supposed to say on the air.
And Dave, who has been on the show before,
yeah,
when he was here, Dave is a great. We don't want to talk about him like he's
because he's still on the radio in Buffalo.
He's in Buffalo, where the snow's up to Dave's. You know what?
He was from there. Like, he didn't choose to go there. He was like, I should probably go home and let my family get to know my son. Just family stuff. But he's doing well. He's back on a country station. And
I thought he was on an adult contemporary station.
He was at first.
Okay.
He has since moved to the country station, and he drives you home every day.
Oh, great. Great. And I guess we should get to our guest today.
We should. He's sitting over there very patient. Yeah. And normally I don't think these guys are patient, are they?
They are not.
From his career path he's taken?
And actually he has an appointment here soon, so we have to get to him here. And it is Rob Cahill, president of National Inspection Service of Indiana. How's it going this morning, Rob?
Great. Thanks, Charlie, for having me on here today with y'all.
Well, this is your segment of the home buying process. I've always said it's probably the most misunderstood of because everybody that loves you or hates you, Rob, one of the two. It seems like.
Yeah, Charlie, that seems to come with the territory. We're going in and finding problems with people's homes, and that's not always comfortable. And obviously, when you're selling your house, you don't want to know about all these things that might be wrong with it. But
I have a question though. This is from layman's questions. Like, I have no idea. If I'm going to sell my home, or even if I'm going to buy a home, does the house have to be inspected first?
It's not a requirement by the banks, but most realtors and most people today in this world are going to have it inspected just for their own peace of mind.
Sure.
And I think Charlie would agree. Realtors do recommend that our services be performed to help protect everybody involved. That way, let's get it out on the table. If there's issues that need to be taken care of, let's address them. And that's what we're there to do, is help protect the buyer from any major issues that might be lurking in their crawl space or attic or on their roofs. And
I know that firsthand, because our house in Philpott,
right, that
we bought from his grandparents, it was the original farmhouse,
right,
because it was a family transaction. He did this before he knew me. I probably would have been like scared, but he didn't get it inspected. So what ended up being one bowed floor
Right.
ended up being every floor had to be ripped out, every piece of drywall had to be taken off, and we had to get the house treated, and it was like, oh my gosh. And I said to him, did you not get this house inspected? And he's like, no, it was like a family house. I guess I just assumed, that everything was okay. So we've learned a hard lesson. We're still working on it.
Was it an older farmhouse? Or?
It was built probably. I think the date on it's like probably 1940 or something. So it's not really
Not
super
real
old,
yeah.
but old enough to have some issues, especially because the irrigation from where it's built on a hill the water wasn't redirected. I mean, I knew that, and I'm no inspector, so I was like, you should have just at least had somebody go under the house.
As an inspector, I'll tell you, water is the number one enemy to homes.
I believe it.
Absolutely. Just simple things like not keeping your gutters clean, grading issues around the exterior. Most of your water issues that happen in basements and crawl spaces are almost always related to gutter runoff, downspout drains, or grading issues. So if you're having issues with water, that's where you start, is your grading and your gutters, and then go from there. Also, that's what leads to so many of the houses we do today having mold issues. You've got water, you get it underneath your house in a dark, warm space. Yeah. You've got a perfect breeding ground for molds. So,
are crawl spaces more prone to having mold issues than full basements?
Mold can't grow without water. So as the mold guys will always tell you, or the guy when they remediate it, you cut the water. The first thing, they don't worry about the mold as much as they worry about the water source.
Yeah,
because you cut the water source off,
then you can clean it up.
You cut the water source off, the mold goes away.
Right, it'll go dormant, but they still recommend that it be clean
yes.
because if water is reintroduced at any time, then that mold could start growing again.
So if you see in your house right now, maybe you're not selling it or it's not one that you're going to buy, but you're just in your house and you see that there is something that looks like it could be on your bathroom walls or in a closet or whatever, like, again, kind of like a dark, damp space. I mean, it would probably be good. Do you inspect homes just to be inspected?
Yeah, for
like
sure.
If I'm like, I think I might have mold, I want to call you.
Two of the indoor air quality issues that we deal with are mold and radon gas. That's another big one. They're both interior contaminants that are potentially harmful to your health.
Yeah.
And the mold issues, the most complicated, just because every person's different. You may have one person that has a health, especially if you have asthma or you got kids with asthma or breathing issues or any of those types of things, then there's a good chance if they're in a house with mold, then that's going to cause even more problems for that person. So it does make a big difference on the indoor air quality of the house, especially for children and young people. And then radon gas is another issue that we deal with and we inspect for. It's colorless, odorless gas that comes from the ground. It comes from the breakdown of uranium. As uranium breaks down, it changes from a solid to a gas. And those gases are seeping into the air we're breathing right now. They're in the outdoor environment, so we're always breathing radon. But if you build a home on a house where the ground is allowing radon to seep up into your house, then it's a potential cancer-causing. It's the second leading cause of lung cancer after cigarette smoke.
So now, what would you do about that?
Well, they've got a mitigation system where you test for it, and if you do have a high level of radon, then it can be mitigated. It's about a $1,500 repair, somewhere in that range, but they can usually bring the house. Most of the mitigation companies I know try to bring the house down below 2. So you never get it to 0. Yeah,
at least a safer level.
Yeah. The outside environment is 0.5. So, but 4.0 is the level that you want to be below on a radon test. So it's important to have your house tested.
Yeah.
Especially basements are more susceptible. So if you have living space below ground that you're living in, or that you've got a kid's bedroom in, or a family room, or your man cave, any of those kind of things, then it would be recommended that house be tested. it's a 48-hour test. Yeah, we basically set up a radon monitoring machine that we would put in the lowest living area of the home. It runs for 48 hours. It'll average those results, and you'll have your radon number, whatever that may be. And like I say, it is a cancer-causing carcinogen, and it's colorless, odorless. There's no way to know if you have it unless you have it tested.
Are there certain areas in the tri-state that are more prone to it?
Philpott.
Oh, yeah. I knew it.
Yeah. What I found in our testing is the west side of Evansville has a lot of issues. Mount Vernon.
Oh, they've got a lot of issues over there.
Charlie, stay focused.
And then out in Newburgh as well, you've got a lot of, and the national average is about 1 in 12 homes will be high. So it's, your odds are that you're not going to be high, but they do show up. One of my another inspector that works with me built a brand new house on the west side of Evansville, St. Philip's area.
Yeah.
And his had one of the highest levels we've ever tested.
And it was a fairly new
brand new house.
Brand new,
he just built it.
Yeah.
But luckily, as he was building it, I convinced him to put in a passive system that was there just in case it came in high. So he was able to remediate it. He was up in the 20s, and he got it down below in the 2 range.
Wow.
So it is something that can be repaired and taken care of.
Is there a chance that like my house might be tested and be fine that my neighbors could have?
Absolutely. Okay. That's the thing. It's people always say, well, what about this neighborhood? What about that neighborhood?
House to house.
No rhyme or reason to it. You can have one house high and the next 6 will be normal. So it's just all according. And the quality of construction, I think, has something to do with it. These newer homes we're building today are being built so tight that they don't breathe. There's no air exchange in that house like there were with the old leaky houses that were built in 1940 in Philpott.
Yeah. They're hard to take apart, though, I'll tell you that. The seal, especially around the bottom, when you got to chisel that out with a chisel. It's like, oh, my gosh.
But both mold and radon problems are exacerbated by the fact that we're building homes so tight today.
Yeah,
and
that makes sense.
Continues to, and we spend more time in the house than we used to. If you think about it, back in the old days, you didn't sit in your house on the computer and watching TV for hours upon hours. So nowadays we're in the house more. It's tighter, and we find more mold issues in newer homes than we do in old homes, believe it or not, because the old homes are less likely. Now, where you're going to find, and Charlie can attest to this because he does a lot of investment properties, where you're going to find mold almost every single house is one that's been a bank repossessed home or a house that's been sitting empty.
Okay.
Those homes are almost always, because they turn the utilities off, they don't maintain them, there's nobody cleaning gutters, and they may sit for a year before they ever even get back on the market.
Isn't it amazing, though, that people this smart, like the Bank of Americas, the Chase Manhattans, people like that we represent that own home, they will have utilities turned off, even though we tell, so the sump pump can't run, it rains, they've got a great house when they start, by the time they're done, the basement, if they're lucky, it's just the basement, it's completely encased in mold, and they wonder why the house brought less money. I've never understood why they have the utilities turned off. I've never understood that.
I've bought one here in Evansville. When I bought it, it was a bank repossessed home. It had been sitting empty for 2 years. The basement had about 4 foot of water in it. The problem I had, I bought it, and then I went to get to working on it. And of course, because it's been sitting with no electric and no gas for over a year, now in Evansville, you're required to, and it's been this way for quite some time, but you're required to have a licensed master electrician and a master plumber come in and inspect the home and approve it before they'll allow you to have the utilities put on. So now you got 4 foot of water and no way to get utilities on. Yeah. So the only way I could get it pumped out was to rent a generator and actually pump the water myself and then start getting it cleaned out to where we could get the inspector, the city and the inspectors in so we could even start to work on it.
So Rob, we we didn't get to talk. Let's get to the inspection process here, since we've got a little under 10 minutes left here. As I said, misunderstood. You normally, first off, you do represent one side or the other when you're in the transaction.
Correct.
And it's normally, what percentage is the time you represent the buyer? I know you do some.
I would say 95% inspections are for the buyer.
You do some pre-inspections for the
maybe
seller.
5% for pre-listing inspections,
right.
Or when they're getting ready to put it on the market, they can have it. Some people like to have it inspected, and then they can either disclose issues that they may have with the house, or they can fix issues that are in the house and then possibly add it to the listing price. So example I think of that a lot, Charlie, would be, say if you got a house with a 20-year-old roof. Mm-hmm. Rather than list it with that 20-year-old roof, why not go ahead and replace that roof and have because your inspector's going to come along and say it needs replaced anyways. So rather than allowing that to be a negative and be used against you, you put a new roof on it. Now you've got a marketing tool that says, I've got a brand new roof compared to other houses.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And for the buyers, since we are typically working for the buyer, buyers have to understand that the inspection is to find major safety or habitability issues with the home. Now, when I've been doing this 25 years, and when I first started in this business, I think there was an actual number clause or a number amount in the purchase agreements, like $500 or $1,000 if it exceeded that. But basically the buyer was responsible for the first $1,000. So they wouldn't let you ask for all these little small minor issues. And in today's world, pretty much buyers ask for, not all of them, but especially a lot of your newer first-time buyers are asking for every single thing that's on the report. And lots of times that's probably not fair to a seller when you're selling a used property. So it is a balancing act of what's a major defect, what's severe enough that it should cause a buyer to either be able to back out of the contract if it was such a severe problem, or at least be able to negotiate those repairs into their purchase agreement.
And there's a lot of times that and I know you've seen it on our end, the people think, well, we'll just ask for these little things. Well, especially investors that rehab homes and redo it. If they miss something big, they don't mind doing it, but they don't want to be nickel dime to death.
Right.
Right. They don't, just that little stuff drives them crazy. If they miss something huge, they got to spend a few $1,000s, they got no problem. But you ask them for $100 worth of stuff, they may not do it.
Probably the only place that I truly feel that it's okay to be as nitpicky as you want to be is a brand new constructed home. Mm-hmm. Okay, there, buyers moving in, it's brand new. Yeah. It should all be right. If there's something even minor that's not right, and even on a new home, I try not to do the touch-up list for a buyer. I tell them to go through the house themselves on a brand new home and find the nicks and the scratches in the paint and the touch-up. That's really not what we're there to do. We're there to find any major safety, habitability, or maybe issues where things haven't been installed properly, or I could just go over. In 25 years, we could have a whole issue on findings of crazy stuff that you wouldn't believe, even on brand new houses. You would say, no way that could have got passed.
And I have seen some inspection reports on new homes that were longer than an inspection report on an existing home.
Absolutely, yeah. I've had brand new homes where we've had to have structural engineers come in and make repairs and suggest repairs on major issues in brand new construction. So it's out there.
When you're doing an inspection, you want to look for the major things, obviously. That's, of course, what's going to be really important to them. Probably want to get across to people, because people think whatever the home inspector says is it. You're not a contractor.
Right.
As you state in your reports, you're not a contractor. Yeah.
Right. And our recommendation, and we pretty much, especially if we're recommending a professional come in, a plumber or electrician,
right,
or where you've got something major, that you do hire a licensed professional contractor. And that way you have receipts and things that allow you to know that it was done, and you have some kind of recourse on whoever did the work if there is an issue.
And you will, and because I know you and I have had this, and other inspectors, but when you say hire, I'll just use an electrician example, and they come in and they put on their letterhead that they found that everything was fine, then you're good with that. Then if they say everything, whatever issues you found, if they say it's fine, then that's the end as far as you're concerned.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the licensed contractor. I mean, we've certainly gotten in issues with builders and electric.
Yeah.
There's always disagreements potentially out there on interpretation of certain code issues, but code's a big thing too. I know a lot of buyers think that home inspection is a code inspection. Well, codes are designed to be enforced at the time of construction. So truly a home inspection is not a code inspection. Now, when we're doing brand new homes, certainly we would be expected to find potential code issues that we can see that are accessible to us, but we're by no means like the county inspectors where they can literally come in and stop construction. They can demand that things be done a certain way or redone. Home inspectors don't have that power. We really are there as the last set of eyes, typically going through the house before you take possession of it and giving you an idea of what's going on with the home.
So, Leslie, would you like Rob to come to Philpott and inspect your house?
I'm afraid what he might find.
Yeah,
I think we have a travel fee to Philpott.
Yeah.
How far is that?
It's exactly an hour from here.
Yeah.
If you left right now from our door, that's how long it takes.
But you go through Owensboro.
You do go through Owensboro.
So you could stop at the Moonlight.
You could stop. Yeah. See, there's perks.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking.
I'm probly going to get the bill, though. He's going to give me the check.
You're buying lunch.
Yeah, I'm buying lunch. Okay, I see where this is going.
Well, we were talking about. Gosh, I shouldn't have got off the subject because
It's okay. We're about.
Are we about out of time? Mm-hmm. Rob, you want to let people know how they can reach you if they do want an inspection?
Sure. Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, you can reach us at National Inspection Service of Indiana. Our phone number is 812-476-1999, or you can go to our website at nisiev.com. And on both places, you can at our office, you can talk to Kelly. She takes care of the office. Online, you can actually schedule inspections online on our website or read about our different services as well.
And your son works with you now.
Corey's been with me about 4 years now. He's turning 30 this year, and people always ask, or they always get a great look when I say this is my son Corey, and they think. And they'll always get a good, that's got to be nice. And I say, some days it is, some days it's not. But we do pretty good together. But it's a real blessing to be able to get up and work with your son every day.
Sure.
For the most part.
Yeah.
No, I've dealt with Rob for 20 years, and he does a great job. So if you need an inspection, look up National Inspection Service of Indiana. They will do a great job for you. We are out of time, aren't we?
We are. So how can we get a hold of you, Charlie?
Yo, Charlie Butler team. If we can't sell your house, we'll buy it. And that's at 812-499-7758. Or go to charliebutlerteam.com. And for Leslie Morgan, this is Charlie Butler. Have a great Sunday.
You've been listening to The Real Estate Show on WGBF AM with the guy who guarantees to sell your home or he'll buy it himself, Charlie Butler. Join us every week at this time to find out how to sell your home quickly and for more money. For more information, email cbutler@kw.com or visit charliebutlerteam.com.